Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to present to you today the results of the Synthestech project. I'm accompanied by Roman Karabanov, head of our laboratory, and my son, who put in a lot of effort into our success. The results achieved are both convincing and revolutionary in terms of practical physics and the health impact. They are tangible and ready to be applied. We have a product that has taken physical shape and operational technology that's ready to move into production. This is an accomplished fact. Some background. A little more than 3 years ago, I spoke in this club about converting one chemical element into another. It was a mediatic breakthrough, which sparked the discussion of the subject, particularly in Russia. The global discourse on chemical element transmutation is also beginning to change. I am grateful to this press club, in particular to its leader, Mr. Guy Metan, for this opportunity. Today, we are recapping the work carried out since our first meeting. The outputs of the project speak for themselves. We have slightly shifted the focus of our research. I had to abandon the idea of biotransmutation shortly after our first presentation. Biotransmutation is difficult to replicate and will most likely take some time before industrial implementation. Cold transmutation performed by electron thermal processing. A few words about the jargon we are using. The concepts of atomic transformations and transmutation of chemical elements are applied in a wide range of applications. The most frequent case is high-energy fission, releasing significant amounts of energy. In our case, we are referring to a low-energy process, or cold transmutation, sometimes described as rearranging the nuclei. The conversion of one substance to another involves stable elements and isotopes, and a release of low amounts of energy. We learned how to perform cold transmutation by electron thermal processing. One stable element is obtained from another stable element. This, in itself, is an amazing achievement, a breakthrough. Before turning to details, I would like to mention the scientists and researchers whose work, as well as personal contacts, was very helpful. An important contribution came from the ideas of and the work carried out by the outstanding theorist, practitioner and organizer Yuri Bashutov, Master of Physics and Mathematics. He served every year as permanent chairman of the International Conference on Cold Transmutation and Ball Lightning, held in Sochi, and was an advisor to our project. Unfortunately, Yuri passed away in 2018. Our understanding of naturally occurring transmutation was influenced by the work of the Russian geochemist Vladimir Krivitsky, Master of Geology and Mineralogy, Earth Institute of the Moscow State University. Vladimir Krivitsky wrote a book called The Paradox of Transmutation and Earth Development, The Non-Obvious Evidence, as well as other publications on cold transmutation occurring under the Earth's surface. Vladimir Krivitsky provided our project with valuable advice. We co-organized the 25th anniversary conference on cold transmutation and ball lightning. It's auspicious that the forum was held in Sochi, where our research center is located. While technical solutions and know-how remain our exclusive product, other authors helped us in the search for solutions, and we express our deep gratitude to our predecessors. Over the last few years, much has been achieved. A laboratory center was established in Sochi, where the 2014 Winter Olympics were held. Sochi is the only city in the Russian subtropics. Our laboratory is equipped with 2 Shimazu X-ray fluorescent spectrometers, capable of detecting substances whose presence can be as low as 1/100%. Our primary analytical tool is an Agilent inductive plasma mass spectrometer, capable of detecting up to 10 parts per trillion. Agilent detects isotopy at the level of atomic mass. Our laboratory has all the required tools for sample preparation and accurate analysis of substances obtained. We tested various options for initiating the cold transmutation process in different modifications of transmutation reactors. Over a period of several years, a semi-industrial facility for cold transmutation was set up, producing sizable volumes of target elements, including iron. To test some of our technology options, a low-energy nuclear reactor, LENR, was built to generate heat required for continuous operation. The work related to the LENR was focused on establishing a system for the monitoring of the cold fusion process. Here is the LENR option with a 1.3 energy release coefficient. In some LENR options, a coefficient of about 2 relative to the energy expended was reached. Such reactors are environmentally friendly, and we plan to bring them to the level of industrial application. The environmental friendliness of our reactor is an important factor. In our tests, we concluded that low-energy processes are fed by stable elements and yield stable elements. It is therefore environmentally friendly and non-threatening to flora and fauna. Our project did not serve any purely scientific or theoretical purposes. The main objective was to create robust units that transform elements and produce energy. Another important issue is the market value of outputs. Obtaining chemical elements through cold transmutation comes at a certain price. And initially, our goal was to obtain elements for high-value areas, in particular health. We proceeded from available data, including well-known historical data and knowledge about some natural phenomena. The ancient background. In Chinese and Indian traditions, longevity drugs contain elements obtained from other elements. These traditions are deep-rooted and well-developed. Descriptions of element transformation are widely available. Based on research and other information, we can assert that cold transmutation was already feasible in ancient times. History, therefore, merits serious study. In ancient China, there were some who lived 180 years and more. Look at the outstanding Swiss doctor and naturalist who is considered to be the founder of modern science, Philippe Auriol Theophrast Bombast von Hohenheim, who went down in history as Paracelsus. He apparently mastered the art of transforming chemical elements, or perhaps stumbled upon local know-how while traveling. A lot has been said about the so-called aurum potabile, or the golden drink. Paracelsus healed many of those who were considered incurable, including those with paralysis and epilepsy. This information comes from the city records of Basel and Nuremberg. Another track is the study of well-known natural phenomena, for example, the impact of some thermal sources. Since ancient times, humans were aware of their powerful biogenic effect. These are exactly the thermal springs that receive water from igneous rocks around active volcanoes. In the process modeled by Vladimir Krivitsky, volcanoes transform elements in cold fusion processes. Most likely, the updated microelements synthesized by volcanoes endow thermal waters with special biogenic properties. Even in small amounts and dissolved in these waters, these trace elements do wonders for the human body. Obviously, chemical elements created recently and considered as young have special qualities with a powerful biogenic effect. This was the second track in our experimental work on cold transmutation for health purposes. So our main achievement was not any fundamental breakthrough in cold transmutation. The main focus was on the outstanding biogenic and health properties of the elements that we obtain. Our data is absolutely objective, and our product is not another revolution in terms of health products. No. We are referring here to a totally different dimension in health impact, a different quality of life, and a milestone. Based on a combination of factors, iron was chosen as the first element to obtain for health purposes. Iron is one of the most important trace elements in key biochemical life reactions, and accordingly of the human body. It is iron that gives our blood its red color. While iron may seem a run-of-the-mill subject, what we obtained is not ordinary iron, but its emanation from another element. We call it synthesite. It is a sort of updated iron, or adolescent iron. Its metamorphosis, according to measurements, has a slightly different isotopic composition, in particular for isotope 58. In natural deposits, the ratio between iron isotopes 58 and 56 is 1 to 328. In our iron, the same ratio is 1 to 165. From what we know, cold transmutation of iron nuclei should produce isotope ratios resembling those occurring in nature. Of course, certain anomalies do occur. Practice should remain the criterion of truth. We investigated the effect of synthesite on laboratory mice. Studies of the physical condition and histology of tissues in mice were carried out at the Federal Research Institute of Medical Primatology. The SHK section from the Andreyevsky Nursery of the National Medical and Biological Agency provided the mice. They were divided into two groups, a test group and a control group. The water diet and the solid feed for the test group consisted of a solution containing 20 to 40 and 60 ppm, respectively, of synthesite. Both groups were placed in cages equipped with wheels and revolution counters. We thought of installing the counters when we saw that mice taking synthesite exhibit significantly higher levels of activity. Starting from day 4, when synthesite was first administered, the number of wheel revolutions in the test group exceeded the baseline by 40% and sometimes by up to 100%. When room temperature rose, the test group drank more and accordingly ingested larger amounts of synthesite. Immediately their wheel runs, or revolutions, increased by 100%. When the room cooled down, the test group consumed less water and revolutions decreased but were still 40% higher than the baseline. A direct correlation exists, therefore. between the levels of physical activity and the amount of synthesit administered to the test group. Over 7 consecutive days, the 5 mice of the test group accomplished 510,000 wheel revolutions, or approximately 250 kilometers. The control group covered approximately 170 kilometers. This week-long experiment was recorded continuously and can be viewed on the Synthestech YouTube channel. Outputs are amazing and speak for themselves. They correlate perfectly with the results of bone marrow analysis in the same group fed with updated iron from synthesit. This is being made public for the first time. The analysis explains this amazing phenomenon. I believe this is colossal, a huge breakthrough in the field of medicine and human health. Look at these photos, bone marrow analysis of mice. This is a revolution in medicine and human health. Look at these amazing shots. Analysis was carried out at the Research Institute of Primatology in Sochi, a research facility that specializes in testing medical products. On the left is bone marrow analysis of laboratory mice that received our product, Synthesis. On the right is bone marrow analysis of the control group of mice. The experimental group of mice received our synthesit element for 4 to 6 weeks. The bone marrow analysis in the test group was carried out by Dmitry Bulgin, PhD at the Russian Institute of Medical Primatology, which specializes in medical products testing. Slice sections of bone marrow in both mice groups. Let me explain some of the terms. Hematopoiesis is the process of formation, development and maturation of white blood cells, red blood cells and platelets in vertebrates. Hematopoiesis in mammals is carried out by blood-forming tissues, primarily by the myeloid tissue of the red bone marrow. Some lymphocytes come from the lymph nodes, the spleen and the thymus gland, which together with red bone marrow constitute the blood-forming system. The hematopoietic stem cells of bone marrow responsible for blood formation are the predecessors of all cells that constitute blood. As shown in the left slide, the number of hematopoietic cells of the bone marrow and the number of respective stem cells increased significantly only in those mice that took synthesit. And I emphasize the increase was not at the level of 5 or 10%, but at the level of several orders of magnitude. This exceptional result cannot be achieved in any other way. And now look at the test results for other tissues in mice taking synthesit. I'm referring to the mice that exhibited unusual growth of bone marrow stem cells. All other tissues in these mice are in perfect condition. There are no signs of toxic effects whatever. Conclusion. The bone marrow tests in mice treated with iron citrate, the test group, as compared to the control group, lead to the following conclusions. In the control group, the number of cell lines responsible for all the elements of hematopoiesis is within the age norm. In the test group, there is a multiple increase in the number of cellular elements in all the cell lines of hematopoiesis and a corresponding increase in the number of stem cells. Moreover, the test group exhibits a normal or even ideal histological picture of liver, kidney, myocardium and lung tissue, which indicates the absence of a damaging effect of iron citrate on the tissues. Thus, iron citrate exerts a pronounced stimulating effect on the hematopoiesis in healthy animals without any toxic damage to the body. Consumption by humans has started only recently, but we have received positive feedback about the beneficial effects from the first days of administration. The results of first human tests will soon be available. Testing and research took years, producing a chemical element in its updated state, capable of putting into motion the natural regenerative mechanisms, and leading to significantly higher levels of endurance, as shown by wheel tests. Stem cells are known to be the basis of human health. In newborns, their ratio is 1 to 10,000. In adolescents, 1 to 100,000. In elderly persons, 1 to 500,000. Attempts to stimulate the growth of stem cells are one of the main areas of practical medicine seeking to increase life expectancy and the concerns of aging and everything that comes with age: cancer, heart problems, various ailments of the elderly, etc. We have updated iron, a chemical element that significantly enhances the blood formation in bone marrow and stem cell growth, and enhance it by not fractions of a percent, but many times over. The hematopoietic systems in elderly persons taking Synthesite transform substantially and become younger, with all the ensuing improvements and benefits. This is the packaging for Synthesite. The first test batch will soon hit the market. The project is exclusively private. Most of the funds were raised by crowdfunding. Taking this opportunity, I want to thank all the participants in the project and congratulate them. The project has arrived. Synthesite will soon go on sale worldwide. We are open to cooperation to help Synthesite reach the widest audience at an early date. And we are convinced that this technology will generate a noticeable growth in life expectancy and quality. The final stages of production and release of Synthesite will be carried out in Switzerland.
Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое за конференцию, и вы можете взять все напитки.
Всем спасибо.
Thank you for all.